Hello, you all. How are you doing out there? I am Lady O, and for those of you who are new to our channel, welcome. This is classroom time, and sometimes I want to call it reaction time because I'm watching things on the internet that riled me up, and I definitely want to give my 2 cents. And if you are not new to my channel, welcome. My husband and I share this channel, obviously, and we are a co-hosting team, Psychic Couples Reacts podcast team, and we also do live Psychic Sundays, and we do his Trance Channeling Mystic Midnight Madness. I got all the titles. So anyway, here we are. I am going to be talking to you about signs and symbols today. And I think I'm going to be taking a different approach than most people because as I was kind of doing some just looking around on the internet, not necessarily research, but I just wanted to know what other people were talking about in this topic. It is 100% not the way I'm going to talk about signs and symbols. And maybe there are some people who talk about it the way I do, but I just heard a lot of conspiracies. I saw a lot of triangles. There was a lot of things that I wasn't considering signs and symbols for my purposes. So what I'd like to talk to you guys about today is what happens when you are driving and you see a billboard with the name of a person that you just was thinking about or just called on the phone, and there's the name. That type of synchronicity, those are signs and symbols. Those are signs and symbols that you're receiving from your higher self that are coming from the other side. Simple. We could just end it there, right? But it's deeper than that. Most people want to know, why is my higher self sending me signs and symbols then? Well, obviously, the first blush, you could look at it and say, well, it's because they're letting you know that A, I'm with you, and B, you're on the right track. The fact that you're even seeing signs and symbols is a sign and a symbol that you have actually arrived at the proper frequency that you need in order to start listening to your higher self. So that is that's the main topic here. That's what I really want to discuss, is that communication that's happening between your higher self and yourself here. But before we jump into that, I want to discuss something I heard on a video called How to Know You're in the Fifth Dimension. And I got kind of triggered because honestly, your dimensions and state of mind and way of thinking exists inside of you. You're not trying to arrive at a destination. You're not trying to conjure up or create a false sense of self so that you can fit into this so-called other dimension. You could sit with that for a second. So yeah, when people talk about dimensions, I get a little triggered. It's not that there's any experts on the topic, clearly, but I have had my 150 psilocybin journeys. I've had my 10 years of leading shamanic medicine journeys with psilocybin. I've had over 2,500 Circle of Light, trance channeling, 5-hour episodes each to a live public audience, time with spirit guides. I have a little bit of information, and people give too much credit to dimensions. Like, we're in the third dimension now, so that must mean it's bad because we're not in a good dimension, obviously. So we're trying to get to the fifth dimension. We're trying to get to the next dimension. We don't want to be in this dimension. Okay, so you defeat the entire purpose right there. The whole point of evolution, the whole point of enlightenment, the whole point of you rising to the next level within yourself is for you to engage in activities and inner dialogue that is more suited for you, that feels better for you, that is more comfortable for you. So if you're thinking about, I need to get out of this dimension and go into this dimension, you're carrying over a very similar vibration to a dimension that you're never going to get to if that's what you think it's going to happen. Because what you're doing is you're making this dimension wrong. So therefore there is no evolution. And so therefore this contrived fifth dimension is somehow going to host you, and you're going to come in with all of your your new game and your your new enlightenment, and you're going to be like, I'm in the fifth dimension now, and I'm going to be a certain way, and I'm going to talk a certain way, and I'm going to look at people with love, and I'm going to have all of the healing aspects and all that. Okay, fine. If you want to do that, you can do that. The thing is, in my experience, in my interpretation of dimensions and evolution and enlightenment, you are really actually communing with yourself ultimately. You are experiencing yourself in a very visceral way, as you know. You are living with yourself. So everything you do is about yourself. Everything you do is how to take care of you. The point of evolution, the point of advancement, the point of enlightenment is to be enlightened to yourself. When you do that, then you understand that there's more there. And then you understand that there's love. You understand there's more, a light. When I say light, it's like you turn the light on in a room, you could see things clearer. So think of it, if you're interested in signs and symbols, that's a perfect way to go about it, is to really go into your inner sanctum, your inner dialogue, to become quiet and still, and to go within yourself to discover and uncover your truest, highest frequencies. The reason you want to do that is because you want to advance. Why do you want to advance? Because you want to have more fun. It's not brain science. It's not neuroscience. It's not rocket science. It's logic. You want to be more comfortable. You're in the rain. You want to get out of the rain. You're in the cold. You want to get into where it's warm. You could muscle your way through life and try to bear all the sufferings of the world and bear your own suffering. Or you can reinvent and recreate your environment and your life. You can recreate how you see things. You can recreate how you speak to people. You could recreate how you think. By the time you process everything in your life that you want to process, and by the time you receive it by yourself and you take it in, and you find love for your creations and for yourself and for your life, you are not going to care what dimension you're in. Hear it here first. You are not going to care what dimension you are in. Why would you care? Why do you need to cross anything off a list? Why do you need a location? Why do you need to zip code of, oh, I'm not in the third dimension now, I'm in the fifth dimension now? Why do you need that? To say what to who? To tell other people that you're in the fifth dimension? By the time you get to that point, let me tell you clearly, they can care less. As you already know, they already don't care. So they're not going to care even more. Okay? So why do you need to bring that into the interaction between you and another person? Because that's the only real way that you're going to have fun with being in a different dimension, is to let everybody know. Let everybody know I'm in a different dimension. See, everyone? Look, it's all the signs and symbols. I'm doing everything accurately. I'm doing all the techniques, and I am the healer of the magnitude of the multitudes of the people, and I am doing all the things, and you are going to see me and know that I'm not in your dimension. Well, guess what? That doesn't sound very evolved to me. Whatever that is worth to you, my opinion, but it doesn't seem very evolved to me if you're super worried about letting people know how much love you are. To let people know that you are doing it right, that you're evolved, See, this was going to be a video about signs and symbols. And as I was studying signs and symbols on the internet, I got super triggered. And that's how we ended up here, because I need to get this out of the way before I can get to how you are communing with yourself. First, you got to get rid of these ideologies. You got to get rid of these ideas that you have to go to another dimension to have a better life. That doesn't sound fun. Does that sound fun to you? So what does that mean? That means where you are is not good enough. So you just are going to feed your story and continue to tell yourself that you are, the trash that you think you are. Okay, go ahead and do that and see what happens. Because if you continue doing that, then you're going to continue reaping the results of that behavior. And then you're going to get mad because you don't like what you are creating. And then you're going to go, what am I doing wrong? And what are they doing wrong? And then you get stuck in a rut and you continue going in this cycle, making yourself wrong, making others wrong, making the planet wrong. And I get it. It's a human condition. And all of us fall into this trap. It doesn't matter how enlightened you are. Take the most enlightened person in the world and have them go to Thanksgiving dinner. Good luck. So here we are. Drop it in. And if you're just joining us, welcome. And if you are new to our channel, please check out our other videos. And if you are an old timer, like who've been hanging out with us from the beginning, then you can just pull up a seat, get your notebook out and get ready. And those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you can fill in the blanks by going back a few months and kind of watching some of our videos in our lives that we talk to people and go over just our belief systems. And it's a little different than how most spiritual people talk. And that's the whole point, because we are trying to break apart these ideas of separatism. If you're not living your truth, then what is the point? So practicality in everyday life, living and breathing in your own juices, being in your own realm and understanding who you are is the name of the game. That is what we're here to understand. We're here to understand who we are, how we create things, how we navigate this matrix, how we navigate our multidimensional lives. Can I have a multidimensional life if I was just talking about the fifth dimension in such a way? Yes, you can have a multidimensional life because you are aware that you live in alternate dimensions to whatever degree. At some point in your evolution, you will discover this. I digress. So let's go back to the beginning of what this video is about. And we're going to talk about how to commune with your higher self and how to know that you are communing with your higher self by seeing signs and symbols and synchronicities. So this is how it works. You see the number 1111. I'm sure you see it a lot. Then you see 444. Then you see your odometer reading. Then you see the radio, the dials. Then you see your birthday. And then you see your number here again. Then you have a favorite number and you keep seeing it again. And then it keeps showing up again and again. And then somebody comes into your life with the same birthday. Or they come in and say the same thing that you were just saying. Or you say the same thing out loud to your friend while you're watching TV. And the person on TV says the same phrase at the same time. And on you go. You're thinking about a song, it comes on the radio. You're thinking about a person, they call. What is this all about? Why is this happening? At first you get excited, and then you get scared, and then you get excited, and then you get frustrated, and then you're confused, and then you start researching, and then you try to figure it out. Well, I'll put this all to rest for you. What this is that you are getting signs and symbols from your higher self, letting you know, hello, you have connected. Why does that matter? Well, first, let's talk about the higher self. I am no expert. Right off the bat, I want to let you know I'm no expert on the higher self. There's probably no one I know that can probably be an expert on the higher self. It's impossible. Because a higher self is your angelic self. It's an oversoul that has many other selves, that's connected to many other beings with different personality essences. And if you're curious more about the details that go into this, read Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts, a trance channel in the 60s and 70s, who talked about the oversoul, talked about the higher self, and talked about what happens in those dimensions. Very important and lots of information. It is super detailed. So there's no way the average mortal like you and I are going to be able to understand fully what the higher self is. But the best way you can describe it, it is your higher intuition. It is your angelic version of yourself. It's your inner voice. It's the quiet one. It's the one that gives you the right directions. It's the one that puts you on the right path. It's the one that gives you the attaboy, attagirl, and it's the one that says no. It is the one you are communing with. But if you are loud, if you are noisy, if you are combative, if you are too sarcastic, if you are constantly in your head hammering away at all of your repetitive thoughts, all of your confusions, all of your never-ending seeking with no solutions, and you're constantly making everything wrong, and you refuse to settle down, sit down, and take in what your higher self is saying, then it's going to be hard to hear your higher self. However, you will still be able to find everyday 3D material items will have synchronicities and signs there for you so that you can start to get the cue, the little aha moment that you are being communicated with from your higher self. Some people say you're being communicated with by your angels or spirit guides. That works for me too, if you would like to use that. But for me, where all the power is that is my future self, my higher self, my oversoul, my original angelic self that is actually communing and communicating with me, telling me things that I need to know. For instance, let's say I'm driving down the road. I just finished having a conversation with somebody and I left the house and I was thinking about that conversation. Now, maybe that conversation was awful, or maybe that conversation was the best conversation I've ever had. So while I'm driving, let's say a bunch of synchronicities happen, a bunch of signs happen. The first thing I'm going to do is stop and realize, think to myself, what was I thinking about just now? If it was that I was making myself wrong, then you go into, oh, well, there I go again, making myself wrong. My higher self is there to show me that I'm on the right track and to be patient, and I will get this eventually. That might not have been the best conversation, but I know that I can pull myself forward and there's more. So it's encouragement. Or you can see it as, if you had a great conversation, the opposite, where congratulations. So you fill in the blank. You are the creator. At the end of the day, you're the creator. So if your higher self is giving you a nod or a confirmation or coming through and giving you signs and symbols, it's letting you know that you are being watched in a good way, communicated with, that the higher self is there for wisdom anytime you need it. Now, why are we separate from the higher self? We are technically not. What is going on is that our quote unquote lower self is the version of our human body that has certain programming abilities that programmed itself and was programmed by the earth you live in, by your culture, your neighborhood, your school, your environment, your religion, your infrastructures, your educational system, all the different matrixy things that are in your life. So let's say you have this big matrix. Now, when people go through a spiritual evolution and a rebirth and an ascension, they say the first thing is get out of the matrix. Yes, that is a stage. You definitely want the idea of that because that works perfectly well, but then you're going to find out you still live in the matrix unless you live in a mountaintop. But even then there's a matrix. So you're still kind of in a matrix at all times. And I'm losing my voice. Sorry. You're in this matrix and it's programming with conversations and, ideals and ideologies and philosophies and religious beliefs and everything. And you're getting programmed, and that's fine because that's what we all agreed to as human beings. And so here we are all programmed, and we think we know ourselves and we have our little personality and we do this and we do that. But inside there's a little voice that says, nope. That is not it. That is not the final destination, and that is not the final you. So you go on this quest, you go on a search, and there's books and songs and movies written about this search to find who your true self is. What is my authentic self? Who am I really? Well, you really are the being that's encompassing you right now. It's the being that's there right now, talking, calling the shots, having the life in the matrix, and then also wanting to know what it's like to live outside the matrix way of thinking and think freely, like a free agent. So you're kind of in this introspective conversation at all times. You're always thinking constantly about who am I? What am I doing? And if you're not thinking about that, you're just going through the motions. And you go through the motions until you're tired of that. And then you come back to who am I really? And then if you can't figure it out, then you get mad, throw tantrums. That lasts for many years. Then you get tired of the tantrums and you get tired of the results that come from the tantrums. You come back to center and you go, okay, here we are again. Let's do this over. Okay, I'm in a matrix. I have programming. I get it. I'm not mad about it anymore. Good. Next, I need to figure out how to live on this planet. Yes, you do. Why is it so hard? Because there are 7 billion people living on the planet that are all doing their own versions of their own creations. Imagine that. Going into a science class with that many people, all with their chemistry sets, doing all kinds of crazy creations. And then they're all different grades. You're in a school with how many grades are here? From like preschool to PhD program. So yeah, school never ends. So you're in this class and you're trying not to make anything wrong and you're trying to survive. Throw in there that you're an empath. Throw in there that you have like a special needs situation or a handicap situation or, anything that makes you have a more difficult existence. And then you add on top of that your confusion. And by the time you're done, you're exhausted. You don't want to even get out of bed. You don't even care. And so you land here. Welcome. So you are living the natural, organic human experience. You want to evolve. Why? Because you don't want to be in this matrix way of living. So what you do, beside taking deep breaths all the time and drinking plenty of water and taking care of your body, is you start to ask yourself questions about what am I thinking? Why am I thinking it? Now, the only way sometimes to do that, because life is very pattern filled and repetitive. So it's hard to stop and go, what's my mission on life? It's hard to do that in the middle of the day when you're running to the grocery store and running to work and doing this and doing that. Going to the mechanics and getting your oil changed and changing your tires. It doesn't seem very romantic and not very mystical. And it also doesn't feel very advanced. However, you have to do it. So it's not bad. What you're learning is how not to make anything wrong in creation. And we all agreed to this type of practicality so we could all coexist and live together on this gigantic experience. And the goal is to have as much fun as possible. As you can see, this is how you are going to survive. You have to learn how to have fun. And how do you have fun? When you are mad, sad, disappointed, discouraged, and you feel like you just got the bad end of the stick in life, you have to start somewhere. And sometimes the best place to start is looking for signs. And those signs sometimes help you because you realize there is something going on that is pretty mystical and magical and metaphysical. So for example, you pick up your phone and you're going to call someone and that person's calling you. How does that feel? Take note of that experience. You turn on the TV, you were just thinking about watching a show and that show just happens to be on. Or you walk in the room and the TV just turns on. That's weird. And all kinds of other things. You can imagine. I could fill in the blank. There are so many. This is something so random. The other day I was laying in bed in the morning and I was thinking about I need to go to yoga. And I'm in extreme pain because, I'm on my second month of extreme hot yoga. And so I'm in a lot of pain a lot of the times. And so I was laying in bed and I was like, oh, I got to go to yoga. Okay. I got to go to yoga. And I was like, whatever happened to that one pose? I think it's like a tree pose where you stand with your leg like a pelican and then you put the other leg like this and you lock it into your thigh and then you do the namaste. I was like, how come I haven't done that yet? I need to do that. Like they haven't done that in the classes I'm taking. I'm taking vinyasa for those of you who would like to know. So I thought of it and then it just went away. So I'm in class and doing my poses. Everything's fine. And the lady goes, okay. And so now we're going to do, I forget the name of that pose. I think it's the tree pose perhaps. And she did the exact pose that I was wondering why we're not doing. I laughed because this happens to me on the hour. And I was like, okay, so either I psychically projected that or psychically picked up on that, or she psychically picked up on that, or I changed the course of evolution in the timeline. And so then whatever timeline, because I'm the creator, went out into the world, that version of her picked up on that and my intention behind that. And for whatever reason, maybe there is a connection. Maybe there is a higher vibrational way that I'm communicating about yoga to myself. Whatever the case, it was heard. Or it was reverse, where I picked up on her intentionality. It's pretty magical. It's pretty psychic. It doesn't mean that you have to have 3 aunts and a grandmother that's psychic to be psychic. Because I don't have anybody psychic in my family as far as I know. And for that case, one of the most psychic human beings on the planet, my husband, Riz Mirza, none of his family members are psychic either. Now, do you just wake up this way or do you actually start to pay attention? Pay attention. When you start paying more attention and you pay closer attention, you're going to start to see more magic. And you know what happens when you see more magic? You stop being so mad. You stop being so mad because there's magic. And when there's magic and there's alignment and there's beauty in nature and there's beauty in parallel realities and there's beauty in what you're feeling because you can't describe it and you don't understand it and it feels like God essence and it feels like intelligence personified, you feel more connected to yourself. And that elicits happiness. If that's what you're looking for, at the end of the day, if you want happiness, you can't fake it. You can't lie to yourself. If you're bored, you're bored. If you don't believe it, you don't believe it. If it feels good to you and it resonates, you believe it. Feels good, you implement it immediately. If you're forcing yourself, you'll know. If you're not forcing yourself, you'll know. You can't lie to yourself. It's called living an authentic experience. Now, the more you are consciously aware of this, the more you pay attention to this and the signs, you are going to experience more magic. And guess what? Eventually, you are going to realize that magic is within you. You are the magical being that you are looking for. It is not a dimension that you're looking for. Some people will say, well, you're just describing the fifth dimension. Oh, yeah? Well, I just watched a video where it showed 11 steps to being more in the fifth dimension. Well, you know, you are massive. You are planetary. You are multidimensional. And you come in and out, you blip in and out of realities constantly. Forget about dream state when you're sleeping. You go way out. But when you are being with yourself in your magical essence, and you're being true to yourself, and you're loving yourself, and you're feeling good in yourself, you can be in any planetary system. Bring them on, sister. So you can be in planet Earth. You can be anywhere, anywhere, anywhere. You can be in any physical dimension, non-physical dimension, and nothing is intimidating and nothing is scary to you because you are all one with all of creation, and therefore you are God essence itself. Who needs to know what dimension you're in? If you are all, it doesn't matter. You created the dimensions. How about that? Is that too much power for you? So, for those of you out there, spiritual teachers who are teaching this, let this be known that you need to find more room for you to breathe. Because the more you know that you are, the more you can be yourself. The more wisdom you receive and allow yourself to feel, the bigger your life, your experience of self will be. The more fun you have, the higher vibration you experience within yourself while you're having fun, because it's the same thing. You're going to feel better. Your body will feel better. Your cells are going to respond in your body. Your body will heal, and you'll be more enlightened. So there's your Buddha experience. There is your enlightenment you were looking for. And look, the title of the video didn't even say enlightenment. It said signs and symbols. So I tricked you, because now you get to hear how you can get enlightened by following signs and symbols. How magical! Because it's all you. It's all your creations, and you're having your own fun, your own way. I could fit into a paradigm if I wanted to. I could fill in the blanks and say all the right things and say the things everybody else says and goes down the list of all the techniques and make sure everybody gets it. And I could do that till kingdom come. But if I'm not having fun, then it's not authentic. And if it's not authentic, then I don't want to do it. Why? Well, besides the fact that I grew up in an awesome era, I really like to be free. I enjoy breathing freely in myself. I enjoy the feeling of relaxation when I speak. I like to enjoy the experience of my life. If these are new concepts for you, if you're getting that tingly feeling, is because this is also your truth. This is also what you're trying to experience. You also want to bust out of whatever routine, paradigm, and pattern-filled life you have. The best way to start it is to start looking at these signs when you have synchronicities like this and realize there's a bigger picture here. There's more to this picture than you realized. There is a message. This message is for you to experience yourself in your fullness, in your beauty, in your grace, in your joy, in your love of life. That's what it's about. Because if that is not what you're experiencing on this planet, then why bother? Why are you here? You're here to have your full embrace, your full embodiment of your experience. Taking it all in other words. Like they say, love all your children, right? So this world is full of your creative expressions. If you do not like what you have created, then you need to stop. pay attention to what you're doing and start to reframe and re-energize, re-engage, start over, and not repeat so much, but start new ways of thinking, new ways of living, new ways of feeling, and new ways of being. That's what you got to experience for yourself. And when you do that, you are going to feel the feelings you want to have. So these signs and symbols, pay attention. It's not synchronicities alone you're looking for, but it's the message behind them. It's that you are not alone, that you are being watched and communed with and encouraged by the powers that be, including first primary, your higher self, and all of your guides. So you are never alone. You are always living in a multidimensional reality. And the more you open your eyes to this, the more you're going to see through all of it. You're going to see through all the different phases and places of life that you're in and states of being. And you're going to feel and understand oneness from a different degree. And you're going to know ultimately at the end of the day, it is all for you, and it has always been for you, and it has been for no one else. And when you enjoy that more, then you'll have that life that you're looking for. So signs and symbols will get you there. I hope this helped somebody, and I enjoyed very much this conversation. Enjoy yourself more. Enjoy life more. Okay? Take it from this Taurus. Grab the bull by the horns. You're the bull. You're the stubborn one. You don't have to be stubborn. Stubborn is a concept. It's an idea. That energy is actually really good for you. If you're stubborn, that also means that if you engage in something very positive for yourself, you'll send that positive, strong, stubborn energy towards that, and you will benefit. So use all of your skills and attributes to your best ability. So I hope this helps somebody. Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to hear more, I will put up another poll and find out what other conversations you would like to have. Please drop it in the comments below if you'd like to hear something else coming from my class. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon. See you next time.